Welcome to Key Conversations, the podcast where we talk about all things that can help you level up your music career. This season, we are doing the 12 days of Amplify leading up to the holidays, highlighting successes of independent musicians that are part of the monthly mastermind Amplify. I hope you enjoy, and if you're a musician interested in joining, head to inthekey.co/amplify. Let's get started. Hello! Just pushing my laptop away. But, oh well, there it is. Hello, we are back for day 9, session 2 of the 12 days of Amplify. And today we have a very special guest. It's Robin Tucker. Robin is not only a musician who is studying music at Berklee College of Music. He is also a student of mine, was in Rock Your Email List, and then joined Amplify and reached out to me and sent this very lovely pitch asking to be my intern. So that was almost half a year ago. And I'm going to just bring Robin on because he's a delight. So, hey, Robin, thanks for being here and doing this.
Thank you. I can't believe it's been that long. It has been almost half a year.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was glad that you were willing to do this because you've had so many wins this year, and this is all about sharing wins and what's possible. And we've had so many people, all different ages, and except for we haven't had any people that are actually still teenagers. Not that this group is normally at Amplify. The members of Amplify are the ones that are sharing the wins because we've been having a lot of wins in the group. But normally it's really for people that are in it for the long haul, know that they already want to be in it. And sometimes you don't know that until you're in your mid-20s or even in your 30s. So it is rare to have someone as young as you, but you really fit right in and the group totally loves you. So we're lucky to have you.
I feel the same. I think I'm a little bit more of an older soul. So I fit with the vibe for sure.
You fit with the vibe. So yeah, so let's just dive right in. What are some of the wins that have been happening for you this year? Because you've seen some serious growth and it's been really, really fun to watch.
Absolutely. So much. And they really all started when I, got involved in your world and, got into Amplify back when it was still in the key elite.
It was something else for 4 years before I sort of rebranded it into Amplify.
Yes.
It's just a better name. It's so awesome.
Amplify. I love it. Yes. And what really happened for me when I got into Cheryl's world and got into Amplify, got into Rock Your Email List was clarity started happening for me and truth started happening for me. And all the BS and stories that I had concocted to keep myself safe. If we want to get, really deep, I was so scared of trying to have a career in music, of putting myself out there, of saying, I want to make it big in the music industry. I honestly kind of gotten used to being laughed at by people in the industry who I knew who were a little bit cynical, So when I got into Amplify, Rock Your List, started doing the things, what kind of happened for me was a bit of an unfurling, like a little flower. And I started seeing not only is it possible, but it's actually more achievable than I thought. Yes, I love the flowers. Exactly. I looked just like that.
For those of you just listening, I just popped some flowers into the screen. Yeah, sorry to interrupt with the flower show and tell.
Oh, you're good.
It's such a great analogy. A ladybug just flew into my scarf. Did you see that? All right, carry on. All the distractions happening over here. So yeah, you got some clarity, and you said something that I want to translate it to what you actually mean.
Totally.
When you said that you made up some stories that kept you small. What's an example of one of those?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. An example of one of the stories is everyone else gets the things I want. Only people who look a certain way and act a certain way are interesting to people on a mass scale. My music doesn't sound good enough to sell copies. I'm not enough. I'm not organized enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not look enough. I mean, all the not enoughs, which was really me just being oh, I don't want to, go on there.
Which is funny because you're are studying music. Like you're going to college to study music. So you know you want to get into the music industry, and yet still all of this stuff was coming up when it actually came down to, do I make a record? Do I put something out there? Is that accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if we want to get like a little bit woo, that caused me all sorts of problems, years of pain, because of that internal conflict of pursuing something, but also being so scared to pursue that.
And I bet that that's very common for a lot of musicians that have this passion, but then there's this fine line between how do you get it out there and still feel like you're being protected somehow from the haters or the not good enoughers and all the things. So yeah, it definitely takes something, and it's really, really cool that you've been able to do it so young and kind of jump these barriers. So now when someone says, well, what do you want to do in the music industry? Do you have an answer for them?
I do. I have two answers that I'm working with right now. One of my answers is my 7-year goal. I've told this story before, but it's such a good story. We were on an Amplify at 5 where Cheryl answers questions, and I popped into the question forum. If I wanted to maybe headline arenas in 10 years, is there some small something I could be doing now to get me just a little bit closer to that? And Cheryl laughed. And I was like,
I laughed. Well, you always say that I laughed, and then you don't say why I laughed. And maybe you don't know, but why I laughed was because your question was so drenched in maybe and disclaimers and only if it's possible, and the possibility, the small, perhaps, like all of the perhaps words were there. Totally. And then, and I also like, it was like more like a giggle, like you're cute.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
like hiding behind all these disclaimer words, and then carry on. I told you something.
She giggled. That's what we'll say. Giggled from now on. And then she said, I think you can do it in 7. So now 2027, I will be headlining 20 arenas. So that's going to be a thing. And my kind of more current, or not current. Immediate, there you go. Immediate goal is that I'm going to have 100,000 streams on my new record within 6 months of its release.
Which is impending very soon, right?
Yes. Yeah,
I love that so much. And that's a perfect segue to say, okay, we are watching the journey of a budding rock star, which is 100% true. How do we go along this journey with you? Hear about when the record? I know you just sent it to your mixer, so we're in that mix process, and that's so exciting. So, what do we? If you were to send everyone that's listening to one place, what would you want them to do, and where are we going?
Yes, go to found.ee/RobinGift. That's going to put you on my email list. You'll get 6 of my songs. I do a monthly vlog just for the people on my email list, which has been a really fun way that we've been interacting. So hop over there. Come and join me on this journey for whatever it's going to be.
I love it so much. So we're going to get to, and what are you calling the community that?
Yes, I'm calling it The Nest, because I'm a robin, so I have to have a nest.
Robin's Nest. I love it. So you get into Robin's Nest, which is so on brand for you. How do you describe your music?
I describe my music as piano pop, hard rock. Sometimes it's lighter, sometimes it's darker, but it's always honest and it's always truthful. Sometimes it's about me and sometimes it's not, but there's always that common thread of truth and honesty through my music.
I love that so much. So we got some clarity. You actually have like a life plan for the next 7 years, which is super amazing. And, the new album fits right in with that, obviously, because in order to be performing arenas, you need to have songs to perform. So creating an album is completely aligned. And that's one of the things we really focus on in Amplify is like, even if you have a big 10-year, 20-year, 5-year goal, what are you doing now? What projects do you have now? And are they aligned? And do they fit? And if not, then we need to either readjust the goal or readjust what the project is right now. So you're totally aligned, which is so exciting. But recently, just in the past month or so, besides the big picture win, obviously, of getting that clarity and feeling like empowered to move forward, what are some other, I would say, smaller wins, even though we don't try not to judge wins, they're not big or small. Sometimes my win is that I put clothes on in the morning. So, there's that. But what's a win? I think you shared something about some response rates or your open rate. Something's been happening with your email list that's really extraordinary, but share that or share another one that you've had recently.
Totally. Well, thanks to Cheryl's course, Rock Your Email List, my open rate has just about tripled, has gone from like 12 to 20% to 38% in the past 6 months. And so that's been amazing. I'm seeing lots of good things around my email list, which makes me really happy. I haven't had an email that I've sent out in the past 4 months that's had under a 30% open rate. So that really fulfills me. Yeah.
That's extraordinary. So when we're talking open rates, basically what that means is the percentage of people that are sent your email, how many of them are opening that email? And the industry standard is around 20 to 25 is considered good. So you went from 12, which was pretty bad, to 38, which was extraordinary over 6 months. So you are getting some good engagement. It also means that you're attracting the right person into your list. So as you grow, you want to make sure that you're attracting people that are going to want to consume your material. And so that's a really good measurement. We love data and Amplify. So that's such good data that you're on the right track, and we want to do more of what works and less of what doesn't work. So that's like a huge win. And your email list is definitely a little ATM that you're sitting on. So it's exciting to start to have stuff to sell to them. And I know you're doing so great connecting with your stories and with them. So exciting. So what's next? Is your record's coming out? Do we have a release date for that? Or are we kind of waiting and holding our breath?
We do not have a release date, but I think it's going to be sometime in fall 2021. So perhaps, a little far off.
Yeah.
But, one thing I learned in Amplify is like, I feel like if I could give one piece of advice to like every musician besides get an email list, it would be to take the time necessary with your art to make sure that when you release it, it's gonna do the things that you want it to do. I released my first record 30 days after I finished it. And there was something, I definitely had a story of needing it to be out there so that I could get that like instant hit of validation, it is kind of like a dopamine rush when you put out music. But one thing that I've really, really put a big focus on in this cycle is finding worth and that hit in other ways in my life so that I don't have to rush, to have that record out so I can feel good,
Yeah.
So yeah.
That is so amazing. And that's actually really, really incredible advice is to wait. I did the same thing. I was like, record's done, let's get it out. And then I realized, I was like, I missed a lot of opportunities to do this right. And right means a lot. There are a lot of different things that can make it right, but I just didn't, it was wrong. So I speak from experience and totally support that. So I love that so much, Robin. Before we close out here, first of all, is there anything else that you want to say about your music or any wins or anything that I haven't asked you about?
Yeah. I would just say to anyone considering Amplify.
Wait, hold on. It's so funny because I've asked this question literally on every single one of these things. I'm so sorry I'm interrupting you, but totally. I'm like, do you want to say anything else about your music? And I'm giving people an opportunity to like brag about themselves and they immediately go to Amplify. So I am just like, I'm always like, oh my gosh, no, use the opportunity. This was, for those of you listening, this was set up as a let's share your wins. And I'm going to tell people that you're all in Amplify and you can get to know your future community members, but it's not for testimonials for Amplify. And everyone ends up going this way. So this is not planned. I literally like even specified like anything about your music and you're like, yes, Amplify. And so I love that so much. And now continue. I just was like, if one more person, yep, it's Robin. So, all right, what do you got?
Okay.
Tell the musicians.
One more thing about Amplify. This is an interaction that I've had all this week in our Facebook group. So if you're considering Amplify, like this is the kind of thing that you need a community of musicians for. I've been going through drafts and revisions of my record cover, and I've been posting them in the group. And I'm so glad I did, because the cover that I liked best, actually no one liked best. I was like, actually, after reading everyone's feedback, I ended up, I like that cover better. And, like your friends and family might get tired of seeing 8 versions of your album cover, but your fellow musicians will not, unless it's like 80, versions of your album cover. So yeah, it's times when you're putting out music and when you need support that you need a community of people who are actually going to get that, not to say other people in your life don't like love you, but you need your musician friends who are going to help you in those situations.
Yeah, they get it. And I'm a big fan of like polling your fans, like which one do you like the most? But you want to have it down from 8 to like 3 or 4. If you have 16 versions, you're still getting feedback because you're not really sure, then yeah, you want to go to people who have been there and done that. And also will probably have the same situation in the next time they do a release, and they're going to feel totally great to come back and say, hey, can you do the same thing for me? And that's how that community works. Yeah, it was fun to watch that. Also, this album cover is super badass, people. So another reason to get into the nest.
I'm very happy with it, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's really badass. And I'm excited for you. So yes, total plug for Amplify. I was just going to end, if you didn't say anything about Amplify, would you, yes or no question, should a musician who is looking to level up join Amplify?
Absolutely.
Great. Okay, so we're super clear. Now, marching orders, because every day we've got marching orders, how to be an amazing fan. We're putting on that muscle, right? Working out that muscle. So today we are going to found.ee/RobinGift, and we are going to join the nest, and we're going to follow this extraordinary journey. And I'm calling it an extraordinary journey because that's what it is. And we all know that that's where it's going. So that's our marching orders. If you're a musician, go ahead and check out indakey.co/amplify. And you can get on the wait list or join if registration is open, which happens twice a year. And Robin, you are just a delight. The entire community is so grateful for you. I cannot express how grateful I am that you are in my world and working with me in this community. And thank you for sharing your wins and your story.
Thank you for having me on and for everything.
You're welcome. Have a good rest of your day.
Too.
Well, that's it for today's 12 Days of Amplify session. Thank you so much for listening. And if you are a musician and you're like, yes, I need to be part of this community, go to inthekey.co/amplify. I will see you there.